Welcome back to the Daily Taoist with Will S. We're talking about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching was written around 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless, and it is important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious and selfless way. And the Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves into alignment with the Tao, also known as the Way. Today I'll be talking about verse 17, which is my favorite verse. Forgive me if this episode goes on a little bit longer. In essence, the greatest leader above them, people barely know one exists. Next comes one whom they love and praise. Next comes one whom they fear. Next comes one whom they despise and defy. When a leader trusts no one trusts him. The great leader, he speaks carelessly, never speaks carelessly. He works without self-interest and leaves no trace. When all is finished, the people say, "We did it ourselves." The essence of this verse is that you need to fully trust that others know what is best for them. So verse 17 begins with a section of the Tao Te Ching that is focused largely on leadership. Lao-Tzu was perhaps addressing the governmental and state leaders during what was at a time of great upheaval in ancient China. His words, however, apply to anyone who is in a position of leadership or authority, including parents and teachers. Very often, people's egos dramatically inflate the moment they are put in a position of authority, no matter how great or minor. Many people can't help but make it about themselves as they want to be seen as the great or effective leader. Lao-Tzu suggests that the best leader is one whose presence is barely felt or recognized, a notion that runs counter to the demands of ego. Instead of trying to control people and micromanage every detail, Lao-Tzu advises us to trust people, to step back and gently guide from behind the scenes without self-interest, ego involvement, and to leave no trace once the work is done. By keeping ourselves out of the picture as much as possible, we allow people to flourish. As another famous quote from the Tao Te Ching states, "If you don't assume importance, you can never lose it." As I was alluding to, this is my favorite verse of the Tao Te Ching. I live my life based upon this principle of staying low, staying humble, not overimposing myself onto people and their affairs. As a leader, I am a servant-based leader, meaning that I'm going to give the tools and the resources to people in order to do their job. However, I'm not going to stand there and lord over them and make sure that it gets done. As the Tao Te Ching says, when the work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it ourselves." I think everyone knows inside of them what they're supposed to be doing. And I believe that when you give people the chance and the authority to build something or complete something or work on a project, it's well within their ability to complete it. I have worked for companies who are completely the opposite of this, where there's a micromanager there, lording over everybody on a daily basis and you become that, you basically become, if you don't trust people, you make them untrustworthy. And then, if you're a leader that leads by fear and not by example, you're going to become one who is despised, because when people don't respect you or don't trust you, like when you leave the room or you go and on vacation and you're not there anymore, they're just going to go do whatever they want, because you didn't trust them in the first place in order to accomplish the task at hand. It's a really quite a simple principle that I think the world would be well to adopt when it comes to company structures and management and leadership. We are in a very tumultuous time right now with the COVID-19 situation, and people have realized that working from home can be very productive for both the company and the employee. We're basically cutting out a lot of corporate costs now, where we don't have to maintain office spaces anymore. People are more comfortable. They're able to work in their own environments. They're not subjected to the constraints of working in an office, which is very beneficial for mental health, I think, especially if you work or live in an office environment that's not the most conducive to getting work done. And I've honestly been in both situations. Now that I'm working from home and doing my own thing, I have been the most productive I've been in pretty much my entire working career. So wherever you are in the world, just remember that verse 17 is always in effect. And if you are in charge of people, or even if you're a follower, just remember, if you don't trust people, you're going to make them untrustworthy. And it's best to understand that people have the anchor of the universe inside of them, and they know exactly what to do. Compliments to Rory at thedailyblogspot.com for the essay. I don't know who you are, Rory, but you've been giving me some good inspiration on these micro podcasts, as I call them. You can check us out on Facebook, The Daily Taoist, on Twitter @_The Daily Taoist, on Instagram, The Daily Taoist, and also on LinkedIn at The Church of The Daily Taoist. I'll be posting there a little more frequently, trying to keep this as non-denominational as possible. Have yourself a great and prosperous day wherever you are in the world. And remember that the anchor of the universe is inside of you. Namaste and good day.